We are live. Gents, good to see you both. Ben, nice to see you with your top on.
Sit back, grab a cold beverage from the fridge and relax, because you're now locked into the sounds of memes and machines.
A little bit of context for anyone. Last time I saw Ben on a professional call, may I add?
No.
Call, may I add. Internal, but still a professional call. He was flexing, and he's in fantastic shape, if you didn't already know that. So credit where credit is due, but it's nice to see him shirted today.
No, it's just hot, man. I just work in my boxes all day, to be honest, most of the time.
It's an advantage of working from home, isn't it? You can just wear what you want.
My flat gets so hot, it's just annoying.
It's the classic smart casual. Smart, you've got your shirt on.
Yeah.
Beneath the fold, nothing. Leave you with that image. Chris, how are you doing, my man? It's been a little while.
Yes, mate. Good. Cheers. I've seen you've been very busy as well. Loads of announcements. Congrats on that. We'll get into that. But busy over here too. Somewhat in personal life and in business life. Just trying to get like things sorted out, and summer holidays with my partner. So we're trying to get some stuff in before she goes back to school. And yeah, just a lot going on. August is generally always a busy month.
Yeah, it's chaos. It's just chaos. Getting hold of anyone, looking after the fam, making arrangements, making the most. Yeah, things seem to come to a bit of a grinding halt. But gents, I tell you what doesn't stop, technology. God, since we last spoke, a lot has happened, like a lot. I think this week Sam Altman gave some teasers that there will be big and small announcements. He's come out with some ominous tweets, ChatGPT 5, amongst many other things. You've got Google, ElevenLabs, Runway, Grok 4, like you name it, it's happened. I'm going to fire to you, Chris. Like, you're really in the trenches in this stuff. Give me a few headlines of what's happened, what's exciting, and what should we all be paying attention to.
We covered loads there. Grok has had its latest update where now it's able to generate image and video, and it's uncensored. So that's the big news there. Haven't used it, honestly, although many Twitter users, refusing to call it X because it's just such a stupid name for a platform, keep referring to it as Twitter. Many Twitter users use it a lot and say that they like it, and that they like that it's bundled in with their like Twitter premium costs and stuff. So that makes sense as a model rollout. The big one you covered there, though, was that ElevenLabs, which we've always known for doing professional audio, probably the best in that space. They've said that music has been the most requested thing, because a lot of the people are doing jingles and stuff. Ben, you'll know about this, opening jingles and like stuff like that. So it goes hand in hand, generating voiceover sometimes with music. And
makes sense.
Yeah, it's a natural feature rollout, but that automatically puts them in the top 4 straight away. There are 4 big generative music platforms. One is called Udio, which is my personal favorite up until recently, where I changed favorites. That you need some music background and a bit of prompt engineering, honestly, to get going. It's more of an advanced, think of it like Photoshop. And then Canva would be Suno, which is the most easy to get going with, most easy user interface and experience with no background music required. You can get going with that. And then recently, the new one that I wanted to talk about is called Riffusion, but they just rebranded to Producer AI. And this honestly feels like the new format for generative music. It's like an agent, like ChatGPT type interface, and you can ask for a certain song and then slightly edit or tweak that just in natural language. And then ElevenLabs have now come out with probably the most comprehensive of the music platforms, like most training data, most genres and stuff that you can do. But Riffusion / Producer AI is still the one for electronic music. So if you're interested in doing electronic music production, then I would definitely recommend that one. There's strengths and weaknesses to all 4 of them, though. But now it is a 4-horse race. It was only until like a few months ago a 2-horse race between Udio and Suno. suddenly we have Riffusion / Producer AI and ElevenLabs music, and even some of our community use this one called Mureka, which I haven't had a chance.
I've heard of that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to have a go with that one, but it may in fact be a 5-horse race now in the music space, which is pretty crazy.
I think music is wild. It actually gets underrepresented in the broader AI conversation because the foundation of every great piece of content, from film to clip to video to launch, is always music and sound. And I don't think enough people talk about it. Obviously, we're biased. Like Ben as a content creator, Chris, you were a music tech teacher. I studied music tech and production. So like we're cut from the cloth of appreciating music. I think what's really interesting, I find that the uncanny valley gap that you kind of see in other fields of AI and other modalities, you just do not see that in you. They're all phenomenal, by the way. They're like really good. I watched a clip yesterday someone sent me of a partnership between Suno and Timbaland, and it's literally him just dropping a track using Suno, finishing everything off, and you just go,
that's really
blown away. And I, although yes, it's a commercial partnership, his reaction you can tell is like real, because it is phenomenal.
Yeah, I've been.
It's also a perfect use case. Just sorry, Ben. Just you riff on this, but like, imagine you're a big producer that's got like hundreds of albums that you never finished in the bank, and your major record label told you, you got to move on. We need an album by the end of the year. You're sitting on like, and I bet you're the same, Ben. I bet you've got hundreds of videos that you've started and never finished.
Yeah, I think just commenting on the ElevenLabs, because I've had access for a few days now, and I'm making a video, a sponsored video for them at the moment. And I think I've spoken to the team there, and they've been working on this for quite a while because I think they wanted to get it right. They also are very conscious of the training data. They've been working with record labels, music labels. All of the data is licensed because they didn't want to bring something out where that would inevitably come as the first question and potentially damage the brand. And that obviously provides its own challenges. Maybe you can't scrape as much music like potentially some of the other platforms. I think it's good. It's the prompt adherence isn't fantastic. I think again, like with any new model, it takes a little bit of trial and error, but I think it's not their main thing. That's what like they've acknowledged, is that it's just an additional feature as part of their subscription, which I think is super valuable for people who are using ElevenLabs to generate voiceovers, and now they can generate music. It's commercially safe as well, which is another big thing for a lot of people. Use it on YouTube, etc. And sometimes you don't need really good prompt adherence. Sometimes when you're simply just using a track as a backing track to a video, you're not making music videos. You're just literally finding a track that matches kind of the tone and feeling that you want of the video. And for most creators and a lot of ElevenLabs audiences, that's good enough. It doesn't need to be this, as good as Udio and Suno is creating sort of like, commercial ready type music, but I think it'll only get better. It's their V1, and I'm sure they'll continue to listen to feedback and fix stuff and make the prompt adherence better. And I think just a nice addition to their subscription, which I think is already great value for money. I'm just a big fan of ElevenLabs. Their branding, their pricing, their team, the way they go about things. I think they do a lot of things right. They don't often miss on their launches of products, and I just like that their team and what they're building. I'm a bit of a fanboy, but I think they're one of my favorite AI brands.
Winston in the chat saying ElevenLabs Voice 3 voice update is crazy good, and also check Fish Audio AI. Interesting. I have to definitely check that one out. Winston's a very talented creator, by the way.
Yeah, the Fish I've heard. Yeah, when I was doing my research, Fish is definitely up there on the Reddit forums. There's like an alternative that people try to ElevenLabs. People comparing it to ElevenLabs. I think this was pre V3 model though. I think the V3 model is really good at
just for context of people watching as well, this has been out 3 days now, and so the fact that you're already in and trying it and making a video on it just goes to show how on it you are as well, Ben.
Yeah, well, they give me usually pre-release access, but they usually give me it like 1 day before. And then like I'm using it, and they're like taking the website, they're taking it down because they're obviously fixing it. And I'm like, I need like stable access here. I can't. I need to like be able to test it a lot.
Oh man, that's a funny thing actually. We should suggest that to them. That's funny you should say that, because we had the same experience when we were doing it with other tools in the beta test. They should kind of clone the model so that we can have this separate version that's always working, and then they go and launch another version, you know, like that's actually a really good suggestion. I've never heard that.
Yeah,
just get it. Sounds extremely expensive, Chris. That's probably why.
But if they want, you know, they're doing beta tests for free and stuff. So
no, I'm joking. By the way, I will just add one adjacent point on ElevenLabs. A few years ago, I was thinking, and it was kind of an abstract concept, but I think people see it now. The idea that in post-production, just general production, celebrities, notable figures, people of influence would license their IP. And you would fully generate them in an ad, use their voiceover, use their image and likeness. And ElevenLabs came out maybe a month ago now. I'm fugazi on my timeline, but I saw they built a commercial product for creators to have your voice, and you can use one of their approved voiceovers, and they do a revenue share with the creator. So
they do. They do. Yeah, if you upload a professional voice, you can either get paid out in credits or paid out in cash based off the usage,
which sorry, Ben, go.
They do have also they do also have I say famous people, known people's voices on there as well, which they have licensed. So that's obviously like a private agreement that they're paying for.
And we haven't talked about this, Ollie, didn't we? Marketplaces. You know, marketplaces are essentially what AI creators really, really want, is monetization of the stuff after they've used it. And if the tool that's providing them the place also provides them the marketplace, all the better. You know, like if they can provide that, that's actually genuinely awesome.
100%. I'd say two things stand out to me the most about ElevenLabs. One is their ethics and their principles. The fact that they're offering commercialization tools they are effectively replacing voiceover artists and giving them a new opportunity on a new frontier, which is actually really cool, because the inevitability of using technology instead of people is there. It's happening. It's unavoidable. So actually there's an ethical responsibility, and everything you said there, Ben, about them not being kind of first, but just being early, and they're wanting to get their training data to make sure that everything's built from licensed material, etc. So it speaks volumes about a company that's doing things the right way. Obviously, this permeates in your personal relationships. I've had no interaction with them, but everything you've conveyed about their creator teams, their marketing functions, how active they are in events, I think that's awesome. And the second is, as a business, they end up, in my view, becoming a bit of a Trojan horse for many things. If you look now, they've gone, right, let's nail voiceovers. That permeates the entire content industry, from music to film. Let's now do sound and music. Again, huge part of entertainment. You go a little further, we now have the creators and people licensing their IP. They only have to buy an avatar company, and they can start licensing out people's likeness and image. And suddenly ElevenLabs end up being this behemoth for kind of licensing an IP. It's really interesting.
They have been slowly launching more enterprise products as well. They have their voice agents. I know they're probably going heavy on enterprise solutions, and when it comes to voice agents that handle customer service, etc., and voices on websites built in, and that's smart, because that probably be where there's a lot of money to be made.
I was going to say, actually, a hidden feature that they have. There's two actually that I've discovered that barely anyone uses yet. You know, Notebook LLM, the very popular Google one, they have their own version of that, where you can literally add a little widget to your website, and then ElevenLabs will add a voice to read your blog, and you can have a little play button for those with dyslexia and stuff. That's genius. The other thing they did that I think they swept it a bit under the radar, because it's not that great yet, is video to text, where you just upload a video and it will automatically apply audio. And then you can basically select one of the 4 variations that is looking at the video and seeing where the sound effects should be generated and stuff. And the reason it's not so great is because it just doesn't time them that well, or they don't sound that realistic, whereas stock sounds would sound better right now. I think that's why they haven't pushed it yet. But that workflow, imagine when that's a possibility. Although Adobe's AI tool, have you tried that yet? The audio AI tool, Ben, that is the best in the game right now. So
yeah, it's pretty good. I
it's
found
pretty
that a lot of them. I found a lot of the text to sound effects models have been a little bit hit and miss.
Yeah.
But the ones that are also offering video to sound effects as well, like you
Yeah.
just mentioned, they've teased, but then you get into actual like practically using it, and they're far too inconsistent. It's better using just real sound effects, just because they just sound 10 times better. But that will come, like, and I do think, imagine, you could drop a whole video in with 20, 30 clips of B-roll, and it just sound designs all of it, like pretty good. Like, sound design takes ages, and I think for a lot of it might be a while until it becomes a real like top tier, but I think for a lot of people, when it gets to a point where it's good enough, it will be very usable to do probably at least half of the job, and then you can just fine tune.
What would be your preferred method? Like, would you prefer the VO3 type thing where the video and sound is all generated with one text prompt, or would you prefer the method where the video is separate and then you add the AI in another layer, the audio in another layer? Because that's the thing is, I'm not sure. I'm seeing a lot of the VO3 outputs in accents, for example, to sound very similar. If you ask for a British accent, you almost get the same person every single time.
Yeah.
And, ElevenLabs has infinite British voices that you can prompt your own. And so I'd prefer to have that like control to add that in post rather than it be generated with the video, I don't know.
Well, you can tell a VO3 video from a mile away because of how the audio sounds. They've all got
it's the most distinguishing part, isn't it?
Yeah. I would just take the audio and then put it into ElevenLabs on the speech to speech, so it just matches it as best. It's still not perfect, but you then can have better control over the voice, because I don't like the VO3 voices.
No. It's too generic, isn't it? And as we're all audiophiles, we all notice that instantly. It's like, oh yeah, that Yeti and Bigfoot's got the same bloody accent that all the other 100 Yeti and Bigfoots have. So yeah.
By the way, gents, I didn't tell you this. We've been when I told you a couple of weeks ago that my favorite AI character is that offensive koala bear.
Yeah.
We ended up reaching out to the team behind it. So I reached out to the koala bear and went, look, this is embarrassing. I'm a bit of a fan. I know you're not a koala bear. However, I do run a business and I'm really interested in great generative artists. We ended up commissioning them to do a series for Meeting. And their work's really good. And I've worked now with 2 or 3 Gen AI artists.
Behind it, is it a person or an agency, or who was actually behind it?
Funny enough, I believe they're in Australia. They're an automation house. This is really interesting. You've got all these people that aren't typical creatives, but clearly have a sense of humor, but are really good at prompting. They're good prompt engineers. They know how to get the most out of a product, or out of out of an LLM, and they've just done a really good job. And like, we give them a little bit of instruction, and cost is really good. So that's been my
new wave of creators, mate. That's what I was saying. Is like, I found out. There was another guy wrote to me as well. He said he's behind one of the most popular Yeti Bigfoot Instagram accounts, and he's got over 1 million followers in less than like 3 months or something crazy. And it turns out that he's just a 22-year-old programmer from Poland, and he's never done a creative thing in his life before. And he's automated all of this VO3, and he's done it through N8N. And do
you think there's long-standing opportunity there in terms of revenue for that individual? Like,
I don't think so, because YouTube had this whole shorts debate, didn't it, about like repurposed, reconstituted content. And the problem is if you're just doing VO3 generations and they're automated, then it's like, I don't know.
Where I will disagree, gents, it depends, and I'll tell you.
It's a tough one.
No, I'm just saying, like, if I wanted to just say, like, if that, but not off making ads off money from ads off platforms, but just
can you turn it into a
business? Turning exposure into into a business model of some sort, agency.
Definitely.
So what I would say is I view it as a couple of lanes. The vast majority of these new characters will just die out and have an audience. But once you have a social media asset, even if it's a loose connection or relationship, you have intrinsic value there. There's a whole economy of buying and selling social media assets. If you have 1 million followers, even on a page, if it's a Western audience or a predominantly Western audience because you speak English, you could probably sell that for 100 grand. If you're a 21-year-old that's blown that up in, 8 weeks, like, good for you.
Yeah.
I think it can be a jumping off point. The second is people that can aggregate and bring those entities together and turn them and create some level of continuity, actually build IP, create merch, t-shirts. I think you could use that if you build a deeper connection with an audience. And then the third for me then is like all the traditional economy that exists around attention. So partnership, sponsorship. So I think what you'll have is if you pair really commercially savvy with these kind of emergent creators together, I think that's where there is opportunity. But to your point, Chris, the vast majority won't do that. It'll just be part of a journey. They'll have this cool asset because when you're young and experimenting, you don't know what the opportunities are. You haven't got the experience. You haven't been exposed to it. It's a new economy. People aren't establishing or valuing these as assets yet. So that's why I say it depends.
Yeah, well, it requires a person running the account that just has an understanding of how to commercialize what they've built. And it's not some. I mean, they are like the new form of meme pages, right? Aren't they? Instagram meme pages or something like that. And they're a video version, an AI video version.
They are memes, Ben. Say it exactly. They are meme pages.
They are meme pages.
Go back 10 years ago, there wasn't an economy around memes, the language of the internet. A huge economy emerged. Social publishers emerged. The Lad Bibles, the Unilads, the Puberties. These companies all were built off the back of memes and aggregating young talent that understand internet culture. The same thing will happen again, but now you have an established industry that underpins that. I think you'll just see forms of this. I think a lot of these social publishers will go around acquiring these pages because they're underpriced right now.
Yeah, I think that's probably the right thing that would happen. I mean, if knowing what I know, in that all of these, the person running that account might not even know that about the companies that you've just listed and the fact that they do run and they buy and run meme pages. Because if I just wanted to exit it because I felt like I could just build another one just as quick, I would just go to one of these and say, here's my account, this is what I do, you want to buy it? And then they offer me 6 figures, whatever, and then we go, okay, cool, and then I'll go build another one with some new idea of some and you can just rinse and repeat that if you kind of know how to do it. You've got that comedy genie in you.
On the nose it's becoming. I watched a video right before this episode, which was, is your favorite YouTube channel now owned by private equity?
I think I saw the intro. I saw the intro to that.
It's amazing. And I was absolutely mind blown by how many of them. And I even thought about it. I was like going back and looking at the dates when they were acquired and then seeing if their content's changed since then. And it's insane. Like, it's actually so much.
Is that the one where Colin and Samir were in it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Colin and Samir, Dude Perfect. A lot of the channels that people watch, are now mostly owned by, private equity. And the reason for that is apparently YouTube businesses have always been very risky because they're, the person that runs them is the talent. So you can't really replace them because they build themselves up around themselves. But lots of them now, you'll notice, like Veritasium, that's my favorite one. He basically is a very science guy, and he's been the main person behind it. You kind of know Veritasium, the brand, as the guy that you're seeing as the presenter. But since the private equities come in, he's having co-hosts, slowly introduced so that they know that this channel can make money and still be without the main host, and it's not too dependent on the main person, because essentially they've been bought out now. As Ben said, if they could start another channel if they want, and then grow it just as fast, they are entitled to do so, as long as it's not directly competing in the contract with the VCs. But private equity, man, they are apparently in 2021, there was only $0.8 trillion spent in private equity. And by 2025, there was $8 trillion spent. So, and it's projected to be $12 trillion by next year. So they're just owning more and more of the world's capital, and they're going to buy up media firms because that's where the attention economy is. Like you said, Ollie.
Why do you think this is not a new phenomena? It's if you were a Billy, why did Jeff Bezos buy the Huffington Post? At any point, you want a way to distribute your information from a credible source. What you have now, though, is I think what is a new dynamic is this fragmentation of trust. So if you think now, the reason I go to certain podcasters is one, I'll enjoy their perspective or what they produce, but I also build an element of trust. And actually, I've made that choice. I'm not at the mercy of an algorithm per se. That's it's a proactive choice from my standpoint. So I think you've got this fragmentation. You're seeing, the proliferation of everything becoming a little more politicized, which is you're seeing these right-wing media houses emerge, left-wing media houses emerge. You're seeing more capital being deployed from venture. You're right, private equity. I must go every week offering these meme pages to an offer to come acqui-hire. Because the thing is with in my view, the problem with buying a media asset is I don't want to run it. I have no intention of running it. I don't have the time. I don't have the skills.
The benefits.
You want the talent. So you need some kind of co-promotion and value exchange where we'll help you commercialize it and help you, turn this into a business. But ultimately, this is what our motives are. And usually our motives are we want to promote our portfolio and the companies we're involved in, etc.
In a very crude way, to break it down in a true memes and machines way, I truly think that venture capital is mainly older baby boomers, right? They're the ones that have got the money and the equity. But they didn't realize how much YouTube dominates the landscape now. The media attention is not on Saturday Night Live. It's on YouTube. One YouTuber can get more views than the entirety of a channel, so they're valuing them at a regular rate now that the problem with that is apparently Vice, Vice Media, they were valued at $5 billion or something absurd, but it was all because of one Facebook page and one YouTube channel. So the investors are very worried that either one of those algorithms, like you said, Ollie, could just defavor them one day or, block them entirely. And then their entire distribution method is gone. So that's why they build up, I believe, all these different places. Is if one gets taken away, then it's a lot less risky. But if you're dependent on two, you're stuck.
Even on a micro level, Ben, you're the same, right? You don't want a single dependency as a creator on any single platform. You need to diversify. Right. You need to have your own. You need to have your kind of anti-algorithm places, newsletters,
TikTok, man. Because Ben told us. Remember the story Ben told us in episode 1 where he accidentally deleted and re-uploaded something, and that got an auto ban.
Yeah, so I've got that account back.
That haunts my dreams.
Perma-banned for fraud, apparently. The links in my bio. Couldn't get it overturned. Gave up. And it's just ridiculous. The thing, the thing is on TikToks, I can't stand TikToks moderation, side point. But basically, this is interesting. This is a complete tangent. But so over the last week, me and a few of my creator friends have discovered that an AI I'm going to call them out, Creaty.ai, have been running ads where they take the intro of our video and then they stitch it with promo to their app on the second half, and they've been beaming out ads across Instagram.
What are they called?
Creaty.ai. And we are pursuing them basically to take them down and compensation, and it's just
so unauthorized use of your content in their ads, basically.
Yeah. And the annoying thing is somebody else, a completely separate company, has obviously seen them doing it and done the same thing. And so there's a TikTok ad that's done 10 million views on one of my videos, and everybody in the comments is saying it's a scam. And I've gone to TikTok and filled out their copy. Not reporting in an app, because that's usual. I've gone and filled out their copyright form. I filled out a whole form. 1 day later, not enough information to investigate this. I'm like, I just can't stand about
Wait,
TikTok.
did your face actually appear in a
Yes,
thing?
they take
My
my runway video, my runway video, the first one I did on Act 2. They taken the first 10 seconds, and this has been happening a lot. I've seen it happen to other creators as well.
Yeah, Rook said this a lot.
And it's been happening to a lot of big creators where, yeah, you take the hook, like a viral video hook, and you just patch like, oh, this was done with our AI tool. Da 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 da. And I think this is
they've done that forever across category. They pull a Joe Rogan clip, a Steve clip from Diary of a CEO that's like talking about the category, then just inserting their brand.
But people will get well, they don't even need my video to do stuff like this anymore, because they can literally just use AI to generate videos of, you know, a person in a public domain who's considered trustworthy and then stitch with their app. I think we're going to see this happen more and more and more and more. Because people,
The thing I like about this most, Ben, is the people that tell you imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, and it's like, no, that's straight up theft, and they're embroiling me in a scam. Like, this is not imitation. This is straight up thieving and embroiling me.
While you're on a scam rant, and Ben knows about it, I need to tell you the story. We're going to release the video soon. So Brad Mack, one of our co-founders, founder of Unreasonable, he basically, Liza and his team was scrolling on social media one day and gets hit with an ad for an agency called Unforgettable, right? But not Unreasonable, Unforgettable, and has the exact same branding, the same logo, just changing the words. So guess what? So we do a little bit of desk research. They've literally mirrored the website, created social media assets, created a brand new business, all the same clients, all the same case studies, and it's purely fraudulent. So Brad goes, he's obviously frustrated by it. And I said what you said, Chris. I was like, it's just, so who cares? Let's all stay in our own lane. It doesn't bother me. I'm just like, it's going to happen. However, what he went and did, he worked with the co-founder of Founders, Cal, who's a top IP lawyer by trade and represents another business. So set up a client call pretending to be a client. And Brad was in the background with his camera off. So we've got all this recorded, and Brad's asking him questions about their clients. So what do you do with TrueDart? Tell me what you do over here. And the guy had the audacity to just like full on lie, kind of make stuff up. He then went on to what he charges. And then at the end, Brad switches his camera on and goes, do you know who I am? And he went, you're Brad. He went, can you type in Unreasonable Brad? And like, you just see this awkward interaction. And then he keeps going, do you know why I'm here? And he went, you've got the same website as me. And then Cal intervenes. Obviously, he's a lawyer, so he's quite diplomatic and said, you know what? We understand business is difficult. Everyone's competing, but let's call it what it is. You've copied and stolen the business. You've got to take everything down. We don't want to end on bad terms or escalate this, but fundamentally, you know what you've done. We know it's hard out there. We wish you well, but you know. Did
you tell him this whole thing has been recorded and will be used in court against you if you don't take it down? Because that's
so it's all being recorded, and like, it's the wildest thing, but it does speak to. So one of two things happen in my view. I either go, this is just someone who's misguided, that is trying to make it in the world by stealing like a website and credibility and trying to hustle or whatever. And I go, it's annoying, but it is what it is. On the other side, it's either a scam where clients were going to get scammed with a significant fee and there was no intent to produce services, which then could be reputationally damaging. Obviously, there's just a web of lies that underpins that. And I just think this is going to be so symbolic across everything we do now. And one of the biggest things I hate about the vibe coding era and this kind of get everything done automatically in zero time with zero effort, this kind of new phenomena, we have normalized stealing in the world. I saw ads from so many companies going, copy Airbnb's website. It's like we're just normalizing theft at scale. And it's very strange to me why it's not being spoken about more, or there isn't more intervention from the platforms, the regulators, whoever's involved in the ecosystem. It's wild to me.
It needs to be done at a platform level too, because the people that complain about it are often the ones that end up doing it. I'll give you 2 examples. Like when Drake was being copied, do you remember fake Drake AI music, you know, that was better than actual Drake? He then went and you sued that person and then used AI to bring Tupac into his song. So it's like you sued someone for doing the exact same thing that you end up doing to someone else. Okay. Another example. Mr. Beast has had this guy in Russia that makes every single one of his videos just in Russian. He steals the thumbnails, he steals the hooks, like Ben says. He does word for word, scene for scene recreation in Russian. Mr. Beast makes like 2-hour-long videos complaining about this, then launches a thumbnail producing tool that's called Steal My Thumbnail. And it's like, come on, dude. Which side of the fence are you on? Are you on the side of, no, this is theft and it's terrible and no one should do it? Or are you on the side of, well, it's being done to me, so I may as well monetize it? Because, come on, you can't be both sides. Like, it's to me, it's truly mind-blowing what's going on. As you said, Ollie, all of the marketing, which is clone this website in 10 seconds using cursor.com, clone this website. It's like, well, first of all, that's illegal and fraud because you can't copy people's clients and stuff that you've never had. Second of all, why would you want someone's finished website when they're an established business making millions of dollars when you're a startup? You know, everyone always says to me, like, I want to make an Amazon or something. It's like, no. Amazon are massive. You'll never make an Amazon as a startup. Like,
you're stealing dreams, Chris.
Exactly. You need to aim a lot lower. Like, if you're going to copy anyone, copy someone who's new. Don't copy someone who's established.
I love the message of this podcast. Aim lower, guys. Not going to happen for you. Not going to happen.
The
Johnny Grimsby, you ain't Jeff Bezos.
I saw someone again claiming LinkedIn just before with this thing. I built an Instagram clone in 90 minutes through Lovable. And it's like, no, you didn't. You built a practically working demo that no one's ever going to use because you don't know how to market it. You just know how to build a clone of a website through a website that told you how to build clones. It's like, it's really...
Yeah, there's a lot of just copying and stealing nonsense at the moment.
The headlines, the nonsense.
I think this is a side point, but a new conversation. I've been thinking about this AI and copying and making things easier. And I actually think that the people who are going to be the real winners are actually the ones, a lot of the people that have already done the hard work and built the skills in these areas. Yep. Because what's going to happen is we've now got everyone saying, oh, it's now easier to build an app. It's now easier to vibe code, now easier to create content. I'm actually looking at thinking, do you know what? That's a win-win for me because now I've got all of these people who are new to the market that are going to be taking shortcuts. They are not going to be doing it the hard way, and they are going to be doing stuff quicker and easier than ever done before, but so is everybody else at that level. And so, yes, you can build stuff quicker now, but then the market is going to be so saturated with, yes, there's a new bar, like you can create apps, you know, a good app in, you know, short amount of time. But if millions of other people can do that as well, that's not going to be considered a good app anymore. Right. And so that's a win for me because it's just a market just more full of saturated shit. And I actually have already built the hard skills and I can leverage AI just to allow me to build on my hard skills that I've already built or focus on sort of getting rid of everything that is mundane and continuing to do the hard work that I know progresses me forward to being better than everybody else. And I think that's what there's lots of talk about how AI is going to make people lazier and and I think we're just going to see people are, I think, not say disillusioned, but disillusioned thinking in that AI is going to help them win long term. I don't think it will if fundamentally they're using it to take shortcuts in every activity that requires some level of skill. Not for everyone, right? I think there are going to be cases that's not true. But if we look at it like on a bell curve, look at the average person that's using AI, in 5 years' time, they will still be average, I think, in many ways, because it will just be the new standard.
As you say, Ben, like, have you seen the T app, for example? This is a bit of a segue too, but have you seen the doxing of the T app?
Oh yeah, I know that it's the female app where they sort of tell information about men.
Exactly.
Right?
So it's a female-only dating app that basically doxed males' information, you know, people to worry about and look up. And fair enough, they should have that. But the problem is that apparently it was vibe coded and the data security was non-existent. So now they themselves have had all their information doxed. And this is the real danger when it comes to like launching something that becomes popular through vibe coding is if you don't ever know how to secure data, if you don't know any of that shit and you get a couple of million customers, you're screwed. Because you've now vibe coded something where you didn't understand how to look after data. The whole point of an app like that is to secure data. That's all they do. Is just make a secure way of having data and discussing with one another. And yet, the number one thing that they were supposed to do was not done. And that's going to happen. I honestly think that's a foretelling of many stories in the future.
Agree.
I think there's going to be hundreds of apps that have
I sort of made this off cuff comment quite a few times, and I think people who are in the unethical hackers are probably looking at what's happening and thinking this is going to be so easy. So now someone built Vibe Code's an app, it scales to 100,000 users because it goes viral overnight, and they just haven't built the infrastructure or security in place, and you can just hack it and just grab everybody's details.
And this is a really bitchy thing to say, but the number one thing somebody who vibe coded their app wants to do is tell everyone, bro, I fucking vibe coded this thing. And you're literally saying to hackers, come get me, boys. You know, I'm right for the picking. I'm juicy as fuck. Come get me.
Like, it's the social signaling, saying I've bought a watch, I'm going on holiday. It's like all and then going and getting robbed. I would say the broader point, I couldn't agree more, Ben. Interesting when you said about ethical hackers. I have a contact that is a top tier ethical hacker, works with government institutions around the world. Some of the stories he tells me, I can't go into details, and I know that always sounds ominous, but some of the stories of what's happening behind the scenes is terrifying. It's terrifying. And the technology moment we're having right now is just pouring gasoline on a fire. It's like really bizarre. So there's governments are very worried what's happening. Going back to kind of vibe coding, like broadly, I think it's so disingenuous, this whole movement, because you now have 1 million apps being produced and vibe coded and like mini web apps every couple of months, of which a handful of them commercialize, of which the handful that commercialize are not businesses. And there's a huge misconception between having a product and having a business. They are not the same thing. They're wildly different things. It doesn't mean your product doesn't have value, utility, useful, can't become a business, but they are not the same thing. And I've really had to humble myself. In the last 6 months, I've worked with 2 elite, you know what people describe as the 10x engineers. And I realize I know nothing about technology. My technology knowledge is surface level. It's considerably better than the average person in the street. But when you work with a real elite engineer, you know nothing. Like so this idea that everyone's just going to go vibe code their way to mega businesses, nonsense.
It's super deluded, isn't it? It's like CTOs, like you said, once you've learned and know what a chief technical officer can do, then you're like, yeah, I don't know anything. Like holistically, I can talk about these things, but the actual implementation and the back end possibilities, and it's like, no, you need to know the trenches. That's why, as Ben said, there's no shortcuts to that. And that's one of the things that you can fundamentally say, there's never going to be a shortcut to that. If you don't understand app security and data security, you will always get pwned. There's no other way around it. Like there's eventually going to be some weakness, and then the bigger you get, the more likely you are to get hacked. There's 2 segues we could go on here quickly. First, I just found an ElevenLabs music video. So if you want to watch that, we can put that on. The second thing is, you know, this whole internet privacy thing in the UK with the like porn and everything and putting your faces in. That's Palantir, which is an overseas corporation. We're all sending our driver's licenses and shit too. Talking about data breaches, the UK doesn't even have its own stuff.
So they've
on
outsourced
international corporations.
Oh, that's a web of. Funnily enough, I've been watching kind of the debates around the new legislation and the new laws enforced. It's
such a data security issue. Like, people are uploading fake. You know what kids are doing? They're using realistic game characters to fake things, and so this database is not only wrong in terms of what actually is the people, but it's like, it's the most hackable thing since the NHS.
You know that like TikTok filter where it turns you into an old man? You just imagine they're just kids
Kids are doing everything, man. They're uploading photos of their own politicians and stuff, their local politicians, and they're also going through Discord servers. And
the worst thing you can do with young people and children is say, don't push the button. They want to push the fucking button.
And the last thing, I hate this is the worst excuse every government always tells. It's for the safety of the children. No, it's not. It's so that you can spy on
every overreach in society ever has started with your safety.
Exactly, yeah. It's for the safety of the children, and then all of a sudden there's implementations of everyone's faces, or apparently there's thousands of cameras in London, but if your phone gets nicked or your bike gets nicked, then you can't use that. But they can use it to spy on you, but you can't use it for your own evidence, for your own. It's crazy, man. It truly is. Like, people, I think in our lifetimes, we're being the most mocked on the world stage than ever before. All my American friends are messaging me going, what's happening in the UK, bro? Like, apparently people are being arrested for tweets they make and stuff. And I can't even say that's not true. It is happening. People are being arrested for tweets they make. It's like, where are we? Where are we as a society? It's scaring me.
The problem with legislation just generally is it compounds. When you introduce a law, or not only is it a gateway to other things, but it's very seldomly reversed. Laws are not usually removed, they're evolved or added to. So suddenly you go, okay, maybe the intent is sincere. The act is a sincere act. The implementation comes from people that have no idea about technology, which is one problem. The second is then beyond implementation, it's just a gateway to more. So we go, okay, well, this is ineffective at these things. Like, no one in the world disagrees with removing like awful, vile, illegal things. Like, no one disagrees with that. There isn't a single human, apart from the vile humans, that wouldn't disagree. But I don't like the guys of putting it behind children's safety for a piece of legislation that is definitely an overreach, because that is there to shut you up. That is there, like, if you say, oh, you don't care about children's safety, you monster. It's not about that. It's about what history has taught us and what it leads to. Anyway, we need to lighten this up. Show me a cool video, because I feel like we've gone down the dark.
Mate, I've got some cool ones to show you. We'll watch ElevenLabs music, right? But then I think we should talk about this Genie 3, and I've got a video to show you after that. This one's a fair long one, so I might cut it off in the middle, but it'll just give us a quick example of what Ben's been playing around with, because I've had a quick go on it, but not enough to know that it wasn't good at listening to prompts and stuff. So let's see what they look like.
Luna llena, no me mires así, que tu luz me recuerda lo que perdí. En el aire va mi pena volar y en mi pecho no me deja cantar.
But now your fire to burn like fever, fever, fever. Fever, 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 fever.
All the truth we push away.
All the truth we push away.
I've got to try that Liquid D&B one. That's really nice. First thing I'm noticing, Ben, is the audio sounds like the singing sounds so much more realistic than Udio and Suno. And I knew that was going to be ElevenLabs' strength because the voices are the most, comprehensive. So the music itself is not quite as punchy as Suno and Udio, I would say. But, given that you could do an instrumental only in like Udio or Suno and then layer it with a vocal only, can you do that? Can you just do vocal only?
I'm not sure. I haven't actually tried that, to be fair.
That would be cool. That's where a DAW would be the middle ground, like, a Logic or a Pro or a Reason or an Ableton, and then you're just combining the instrumental with the vocals, and then you could make something really cool. But sure
people will find probably what the best use cases are for Eleven, like where it excels compared to Udio and Suno beyond just surface level like testing. I don't test these tools like as much to know like what actually, like I'm very simple. I just want, lo-fi hip hop. I've got a dub for my intro, my video. I got a dubstep. They've got another dubstep one.
That's sick. That's exactly my prompts in. You need to try.
I know you like dubstep, but it's just there's this heavy dubstep like drop that I was like, oh, now I've got to use that for my intro. And then I took a video of me like head bashing. Took a video of me head bashing and then used Runway Aleph to just like mask me into like a blue outline, like to like just
I'm not surprised, by the way, that your Aleph video did get taken because that was one of the best videos you've ever made.
Yeah, I like that tool. It's just just really took me. I did 600 generations, so like I just was just testing different use cases.
You can see how much it paid off.
But I think that Aleph is like got to the point where it's nearly like there's lots of use. I think there's lots of use cases for VFX in that like you can only do 5 seconds, which is annoying. But it's like actually 5 seconds is all you need sometimes for just one B-roll clip. And I just was really impressed with the cutouting of this one video I did where I basically cut myself out. Well, it basically just illuminated my outline and I was like a holographic figure. And then in order to get the background consistent, because it couldn't see the background, I just uploaded a frame of my whole room. And it then basically was able to then match what was behind me in the video.
That's you've just pointed out the most interesting thing, because my co-host Andrew has this conspiracy that there's a Slack or a Discord room where people are selling the secrets of what's coming out, feature drops and stuff, because they've all come out with the same feature drop in the same week. ElevenLabs.
Luma have got theirs, and then they all drop them coincident. It's very coincidental.
No, it's not. His conspiracy is proved so true that it's now like almost a fact. Like he said that a year ago. He said, how come they're all dropping the same features in the same week? And it's because the staff members are literally selling each other and selling those secrets, saying, by the way, we're about to drop Runway, in painting. Let's just call it that, because that's what it is, in painting. Like for those that are unaware, here's a quick demonstration of what in painting really means. It's basically infinite. You can do anything to any video. You can swap out any character. You can change their texture. You can do anything. So it's not. I keep explaining it to people. This is not like a new way of doing video. This is a new thing entirely. This is like editing video. It's a thing that we've not really been able to do. We've had in painting and images for ages, but in painting and video is a lot harder because everyone's got to like be keyframed out.
Think of how many dimensions there are.
Exactly. Just how many frames there are. Like I saw this really creative video. You'll probably want to do something like this, Ben, where a guy was like holding a product, like an e-commerce product like this, and he was like twirling it around in his hands like this, but then he just asked for his hands to be edited out. So then he's got a perfectly twirling object of the product that stays focused, and it's as though he's had like a VFX, shot of it. So you can control it a lot more than people think. Remember the early days of Runway where people were making like cardboard guns and stuff so that then you could like video in paint the actual gun. That's going to be props like that are going to be way more creative and useful.
You don't even need a prop anymore, because you can just put in a
just
reference
ask for it,
image or just ask reference image and then just put
it's
it in.
getting really
People
nuts.
just like don't realize the capabilities here. People also think that it requires like no skill or no sort of creativity. And I'm like, you sit and use one of these tools and produce me your best work, right? And the thing is, when you get put in front of these tools, your mind goes kind of blank in terms of what to produce. You've got a tool that can do anything you want. You can put anything you want in a video, and you'll be so surprised how mind numb you go.
The burden of voice, infinite voice.
Yeah. Like I end up I have to just spend a lot of time exploring what everybody else is doing to then get ideas. Otherwise, I just don't really know what to produce.
I'd say it's actually one of the hardest problem-solving gigs you can have right now, because you need a history of what to do and all of the new school tools and the new school, workflows of what can it do, what can't it do, what's it trained on, what's it not trained on, and this is just changing every single week.
It's funny you say that. I literally posted this week and said, it was after I watched the Grok 4 release, which was really impressive just because it's very intuitive. There's no latency. It generates multiple images, which we haven't seen at that speed. And you're able to then reiterate really quickly in quick succession. I wrote, I watched these advancements and can only conclude that 5 skills matter. And I'm kind of speaking about the future. Knowing what you want, having an imagination, being able to articulate your thoughts, great taste, being high agency, meaning taking some initiative, like doing things. I go like beyond that. What other skills do you mean? What's going to be big?
Taste making, curation is something I've always argued is a very important skill, and now more than ever, curation and having a broad depth of understanding of what is doing well, what's doing not well, that's more of a useful skill than it was ever before, because now you can generate things to match what's going on in society, and tastemakers are going to be huge.
Well, it's when you have probabilistic outcomes everywhere, and this scene, it's the person that has the right tastes can have the right empathy to know what the audience wants and need to convey the story, the sounds, whatever that thing is. So,
but what I don't understand is why that statement or statements are being recognized by traditional artists that are anti-AI, because I'm in a lot of these conversations and debates. A lot of them happen on Threads, X mainly. Threads a lot, because Threads has a large artist community there because of Instagram, and it just seems as though anybody that uses Gen AI to create anything, AI slop, all AI slop. And I get the ethical arguments around training of data. Fine, I get that it is a derivative of people's work, and so therefore it's not unique. But how can you say it's not unique? I get because it comes from a machine and it's not, but I get it, but I also don't. These people are so stubborn in their viewpoints around, nobody with any sort of skill level can produce anything good with AI. And I just find that so hard to agree with, based off of what I've seen, and goes to the point of tastemakers. If I say, all right, you've got somebody no experience in artist design, graphic design, 10 hours, they've spent 10 hours generating images, versus somebody that has 10 years experience in creating, spends 10,000 hours using Gen AI. How can you tell me there's not going to be a monumental difference in the output? Because that person understands composition, they understand color, they understand design, they understand what works and what doesn't work. And yes, this comes from a prompt, which people don't like because it's quote unquote easy. But it still requires some level of ability and taste to skill to create a final output. Yes, it comes from a prompt, and yes, it's a derivative. But in my opinion, this idea of everything's going to look the same, I just think that's not true. That's not true. Yeah, everything will look the same from an average person that has no skill. But you can't say that things will look the same when you're comparing it to people who are top tier creatives from whatever domain. I can't argue with these people because there's no winning. Like, it's
I'll
just
tell you the thing to ask them, Ben, and then whether or not to take their opinion seriously or not, because I find that they're so hypocritical that they don't even realize it.
yeah, they are hypocritical.
For example, like, you know, ask them about their politics and say, you know, if you're a left-leaning person, do you agree that people shouldn't be labeled? You know, like, because stereotypes and this and that. So what you're doing is you're broad sweeping the whole AI category into that's not creative, no matter who uses it. Except you don't like labels, you don't like this, and yet you're doing that. You're doing exactly that. You're labeling everyone that uses AI a bad person, unethical, and uncreative. That's completely.
I think the problem is it just comes from a place of insecurity and fear. If you're a creative, you've dedicated your entire craft, and now a teenager in their bedroom who hasn't done the grind, hasn't done the hard work. I understand why there is some resistance. You saw this in the influencer moment very early on. If you're not too long ago, influencers were like hated by everyone that didn't like influencers. Because they're talentless, they do not. I think the economy, that perception shifting as you see creators and influencers break into the mainstream. Those that have talent are interesting entertainers, presenters, you know, the Jake Pauls of the world actually doing pretty well at sport, and you know, all of these things. I think those dynamics shift, but fundamentally, it's just fear. It's fear. It's insecurity. Because if you're high conviction, like I'm an optimist, and when I see this stuff happening and think about augmenting my entire life and having 50 people give me a different perspective and help me and introduce me to new things, I go, I'm fucking excited. So look, the world will be divided. It will keep being divided, but I've seen the skeptics through many cycles. I saw the social media movement and all the haters. I'm seeing the AI movement. Interestingly, 2 years ago, I'd do a keynote, speak to people who thinks AI is shit at creative. Everyone would throw their hands up. I asked the same room today. There's like the odd like angry copywriter that goes, AI can't be creative. Like that's the distinction. That's a 2 year. In fact, that's less than I'd say probably like a year that you've seen that public shift. So
well, the VFX people are piping up the most now because of Runway Aleph. That's the one I'm seeing currently, you know. And these guys here, Mike, Tan, and Glenn, these guys are actually very active Gen AI users that watch ours. And yes, we do have a YouTube channel, Mike, although we're not streaming through it live right now. We're going to hook it up in future weeks on this hour, and we'll be through Memes and Machines as the YouTube channel. So that's what to look out for. I'm just doing this because we sort of changed days last minute this week, but I'll stream to LinkedIn and YouTube next time if Jay can hook us up with the link for that. And I agree with what Glenn's saying. A lot of these people aren't actually looking at AI examples. They're just reading about what others in the advertising industry actually say is the slop, and they're the ones that are like, you know, saying all this crap.
To back up that point, which I was going to say, and that Glenn just said, once I've shown the naysayers my minds are blown. The thing is, most of the people that are just shitting on AI are the ones that just literally consume the AI slop that is going viral, the viral stuff.
They're
and I'm like,
if
you go and seek out industry professionals from film backgrounds or whatever, the ones that have made the decision to transition towards AI, and you watch what they're producing, you would be a fucking idiot if you don't think that there is a monumental difference in skill there and output. You can't not, but they'll go, no. Like they'll just check. Oh no, it's a bit inconsistent. They'll just cherry pick every single thing that isn't right. Go, no, that shit. And I'm like, you wait.
Exactly.
And one day, all of those things that you're nitpicking will be gone. And then what will you have to say? Well, they'll find another argument. Oh,
probably in about 6 months as well. That's the reality.
Yeah, it's just, I get it. People are at threat. People's jobs are at threat. You know, it's happened it's happened in many industries when new technology has disrupted. And you know, we're in that period now where there's obviously people don't want it to happen, but it is happening. And I don't want to say you either use it or you don't, or you get, because I still think there's value in people being, you know, non-AI work and traditional stuff for sure. But I think it would be, people are going to lose jobs. when we look at the market as a whole, the way that I usually simply explain it is, unfortunately, there are a lot of businesses that don't have good taste. They don't have like their branding, right? Their videos, their online assets, stuff that requires has visuals in it, visual elements.
Yeah.
They don't like, I mean, how many businesses you look at and think their branding is so shit? And I'm like, because they've either done it themselves or they've hired a mediocre agency. And I just think there are going to be so many businesses that have no taste that will be happy with AI. Will be happy with what the output that AI does. And so they now stop using all of these mediocre agencies, these mediocre talent, the people on Fiverr, and they'll just go towards AI. And that's where we will see, I think, the most impact on, I guess, work being reduced. Not the people at the top, not the people who really care about what their brand is and that. And they realize that they actually need to pay somebody that has got a lot of experience, a lot of talent to design something that stands out above everybody else. But mass market, I think we're going to see a lot of people just use AI for stuff because it will be satisfactory. It's just, it's pretty obvious, I think, that.
I agree. The Fiverr and the Upworks are really the ones, and the juniors, bless the juniors. You know, there's just not going to be as many juniors placed because AI can do those basic jobs. And like,
I'd say my advice to young people is like, just create digital leverage now. The one advantage, yes, it's a different career path and there's less opportunities, but I would be spending all my time learning automations, learning how to create the best images, whatever it is you're into. Like, just lean 100% in. That will be your advantage, because too many people throughout their career become jaded, are resistant to change, will ignore it, will be skeptical. Just ignore the noise, dive in. I don't think there is a better time to gain leverage if you are a young person.
There has never been a better time. I tell all of my audience, I preach to them a lot. I'm like, if you're young, you don't know what you want to do in life, you've just left uni, you're in college, 16, 17, learn AI in whatever domain you want, whether it's media, whether it's writing, whether it's building. Just go on YouTube and start watching tutorials that teach you something around something you're passionate about. And if you do that for 5 years, you will be so fucking far ahead of everybody that doesn't take that advice at your age, and you will win. I think you cannot lose if you just pick a lane and
good advice,
and go down it. Right, it's not going to happen overnight. But you
should tell them this. You should say, I would have paid anything to have this level of disruption when I was your age. I would have done the same. I would have loved an opportunity to get in and do that at that age. I would have just been like all over it.
The problem is that you need to have the, I don't know what sort of like intellect or common sense or knowledge you need at that age where you're not really mature. You haven't been in the working market. You understand the gravity of this opportunity. I don't think that's probably being realized. Some kids will be realizing it. A lot of kids won't realize that, because they've not gone into the world of work.
I needed to discover myself. That's why I went traveling to Australia before I went to uni and stuff. And if someone had told me, oh, you have to focus on this technology, then again, I might not have listened, because
you probably wouldn't.
But as you say, if you are already sure about what you want to do and how you want to do it, then AI is just a no-brainer to learn at this point, because you can literally, like, I think everything we do, operating a business, operating a podcast, operating everything, is going to be a lot more reasonable now. You know, the AI can help and research and edit and do these things, because otherwise it was so much commitment. Someone asked me yesterday, they were like, Chris, I want to run a full-time YouTube channel as well as a business and an agency. I was like, well, forget that, because it's one or the other, mate. There's no chance you can do those three things and do them all at a standard. It's like YouTube is a full-time thing. The only ones I know doing it well are full-time YouTubers. The rest that do it part-time will just get swept up with the hundreds of millions of others that are trying to do that. You know, like, so it's. You said something that really clicked with me, though, Ben. You said, look, they just call out the things they don't like, you know, like the subtle physics wrongness or this or that or whatever. Every time there's a new model come out, right, we should expect it to look dog shit. Like Runway's Aleph, it should look like dog shit. It's the first of its kind. It's never going to be amazing out of the gate. But this one, Google Genie 3, is
I've seen some give some context because I've seen this popping up. It's a 3D world, some sort of thing.
This is the inevitable end game to VO3 and all is world simulators. It's VR world simulators. Now, what does that require is, imagine in VO3 you ask for an 8-second video. Well, in Genie 3, you're in that video and you control the camera. You walk around the world. It has memory. You can go around, come back, fly back. There's a video demonstrating it here, but sorry. The weird thing about Genie, right? Nothing's ever come out to the public. So even though this is Genie 3, Genie 2 never came out as a public product, and neither did Genie 1. And there's a strange thing why, and that's because, you know, they're kind of scared about giving this level of world building to people and what it could truly mean, because it is a game development engine at the end of the day. If you think about it, like all games, all VR, all everything, this feels like the inevitable end game for like AI is just world building. And everyone called Snoop Dogg a fucking maniac when he bought like $10 million of metaverse real estate. And at the time,
a sandbox, I think.
Exactly. At the time, I
used to be in that community.
Bro, if this kicks off, that's going to pay off billions in the future. That was what. Now, in hindsight, Meta wasn't going to, you know, with their PS1 graphics that they launched, it was never going to be a world changer. But with Gen AI filling in the world as you walk around it, it feels like GTA 7, GTA 8, they can't not have this. So what you'll see when I load up this video, right, is it's a Gen 3 VO3 video that you've then got arrow keys on that you control how you walk around. And that's where it's different, Ben. So check this out.
What you're seeing are not games or videos. They're worlds. Each one of these is an interactive environment generated by Genie 3, a new frontier for world models. With Genie 3, you can use natural language to generate a variety of worlds and explore them interactively, all with a single text prompt. Let's see what it's like to spend some time in a world. Genie 3 has real-time interactivity, meaning that the environment reacts to your movements and actions. You're not walking through a pre-built simulation. Everything you see here is being generated live as you explore it. And Genie 3 has world memory. That's why environments like this one stay consistent. World memory even carries over into your actions. For example, when I'm painting on this wall, my actions persist. I can look away and generate other parts of the world. But when I look back, the actions I took are still there. And Genie 3 enables promptable events, so you can add new events into your world on the fly. Something like another person, or transportation, or even something totally unexpected. You can use Genie to explore real-world physics and movement, and all kinds of unique environments. You can generate worlds with distinct geographies, historical settings, fictional environments, and even other characters. We're excited to see how Genie 3 can be used for next-generation gaming and entertainment. And that's just the beginning. Worlds can help with embodied research, training robotic agents before working in the real world, or simulating dangerous scenarios for disaster preparedness and emergency training. World models can open new pathways for learning, agriculture, manufacturing, and more. We're excited to see how Genie 3's world simulation can benefit research around the world.
I kind of guessed that, honestly. World building is where... Now, this is where tastemaking comes right back into the conversation, because let's say you know nothing about building model architecture of ancient Rome, but you've watched tens of thousands of YouTube videos about that subject, and you absolutely just live it. But you've got no creative skills in making, like, the Parthenon or the Colosseum, or now you can prompt it. And people might also have that taste and want to enter your ancient Roman world. And that could be a game that could monetize into anything. It could be a museum, it could be an art gallery, it could be anything. That's what's so cool about world building.
Yeah, the world building idea is a strong one. There hasn't been the technology moment to allow for it to be a interesting experience. It's the same problem with augmentation, VR. There's been limitations, hardware limitations, but you're right. It feels like now we're entering this really fascinating time. Gents, we're going to have to wrap. I know you've got something, Chris.
Yeah, if you're watching this and you want to watch another live show, we're on again in 10 minutes live through Creative Eyes.
Ben, what you got to plug? If we're going to plug something to wrap up, what you hitting us with next week? Big week? Cough, cough.
No, not next week. I'm going to Dobe in a couple of weeks, doing some live streaming. Gen AI Summit.
Cough, cough, 916. You're launching a business next week. Cough, cough.
Oh, yeah.
That is next week as well.
This guy going, I've got, I'm going out for lunch with my mate next. I'm like, no.
In my head, we've like already soft launched, so it's the hard full launch of 916 Studios next week. Content agency.
Congrats, by the way, it looks
content
awesome.
Agency built for the new wave of tech brands.
You and Jay teaming up together on the demo videos and the outreach. That's brilliant. Honestly, really well done. And you can tell Ollie's behind the PR launch, knowing exactly the hard roll date and stuff. It's kind of funny. But congrats to you both. And awesome to see. Yeah, great name, by the way. 9x16 stuck with me. That's it reminds me of Rise at 7 a bit, Ollie, with Carrie and all that. And it's very sticky in your mind, and it's the content format. And so, a lot of it makes sense from a branding point of view. Really nice.
Yeah, thank you, my man. It's been a long road. I think people don't realize when you have very high standards, it's quite a long road to get to a launch, to distill your proposition, because does not need another content agency. So to find a proposition that's unique, to find an operational process that's sharper, faster, better, making sure we have access to the right talent. There's been a hell of a lot of work from Ben, Jono, and Jay and the co-creative, a lot of people. So it's nice to get it out in the world. And this is day one. So it's exciting.
What I want, I just want Ben to have more control with clients. Because I feel like under the guise of now you're a creative.
I am not allowed near clients.
Oh, well, we'll see. But you're going to be the creative. So you're going to have a more
clients. I'll just tell them what I think and what should be done, and they should listen. I'm not for that. Oh, we just do what the client says. Too many agencies are like that.
Yes, exactly.
And I work obviously with agencies who work on behalf of brands where they make me make the video. Yeah. And they're just the middleman. I'm like, we need to do this, we need to do this. And you just, the client said this. Fucking tell them, no, just have some backbone. I know that they're paying you. They're not going to rip up the contract because you push back once. I can't stand it. These too many agencies.
That though, clients don't know that the agency they employ is just reaching out to you to do all the work. That's what I'm saying.
I know. Honestly, I'm here to do my best work, right? So my decision making is towards doing that. Yes, you think this, but you're not a creative. You're not a creator. And so ultimately, when I do what you've told me to do, and this has happened a number of times, I do it because we get to the point where the agency's not pushing back. And I'm like, okay, fine. I'm like, by the way, this is going to look shit. I do it. It looks shit. We go back to them. Oh, we don't like that.
Yeah.
No shit. Because you don't know how to visualize what you want when I know what it's going to look like.
So any tech fans interested in content creation, you're going to get a top-tier service. And no, we're just our mission is just we set out, you have to have a big lofty goal. We just go, we want to create the best tech content.
Do good work. Yeah.
How we do that, how we get there is going to be
much needed in that sector, mate. It's so it's like if you look through LinkedIn, it just looks like corporate nonsense. It's just
because it's just copy and paste templates. This is where we've done it before. This is where we'll do it again. Brands don't really know what they want. Agencies have a model that allows them to produce content very efficiently in a certain way. Brand goes, yeah, that looks nice, and then they just do it. There's no sort of there's not much innovation in content and in the tech space. It's happening. It's starting to happen because people are realizing there's so much opportunity to innovate within content within the tech space. It's just hasn't been happening for a long period of time.
You guys are the right guys for the job.
I think we're right place. We're right place, right time.
You are, yeah.
Yeah.
So if like I said, if you're a tech agency watching this, tech company, just get in touch with these guys.
In touch. Right, fellas, have an awesome rest of your